What's up guys, Mike here. Today I like to go over something called a millennial guide. I found the most common financial mistakes millennials are making, how to avoid them, and how to build your net worth. And it all starts by smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. With that said, let's begin. Let's start with the most common and obvious mistake that I see all the time, and that's people who can't afford their lifestyle on their current income. It just means that they are spending way too much. Honestly, it's very easy to see why this is happening. Financial literacy is not taught in school, so a lot of people become adults and they're expected to figure it all out as they go along. And by doing so, they come up with a lot of mistakes on the way. When people aren't taught to budget, track their spending, invest, and think long term, no wonder why we see people spending more than they make on their income. Until eventually they reach a tipping point and they realize that their lifestyle is not sustainable. From that, they have to make drastic lifestyle changes way too late or accept that they'll never be financially ahead. My piece of advice for anyone between the ages of 18 to 35 is to spend less money than you make. I know this sounds like common sense to you and I, but believe me, it's not common sense to most people out there, especially when over 40% of Americans do not have enough money in their savings account to cover up a $1,000 emergency. Easiest way to get out of this is to cut back on spending and any discretionary expenses that you might have. Use websites like mint.com or personalcapital.com, which are completely free and easy to use. The hardest part will be is to turn this into a habit and routine to track your spending. Once you start this, the benefits are going to be monumental, and you're going to have extra money at the end of every single week at your disposal to go and invest with it. It's all about seeing the long term and realizing the opportunity you have now to start investing as soon as possible. These are your prime saving years because of the power of compounded interest. So take advantage of it while you still can. One of the tricks I often use when it comes to spending and saving is if I don't go buy something, it's as if I got paid not to buy something. For instance, because I don't go every day and pay $5 for coffee at Starbucks and I make it at home instead, it's as if I got paid $5 not to buy it from Starbucks. This way, your brain will start to rewire itself and start warning you for not spending money because you feel like you just got paid to not spend. Avoid consumer debt at all costs and only use it as a last resort. Like if something terrible happens and you need to put food on the table and you don't have any other options to turn to. It's okay to use credit cards for your normal day spending to rack up points, get cash back, and get free stuff, and also help build your credit score. But under no circumstances should you ever carry any amount in unpaid balance and pay any amount in interest to your credit cards. Ever! Always pay it off in full by the time it's due with the money you already have in your bank account. It's okay to leverage your money in order to make you more money. Like having a mortgage in a property is a good thing. Getting a loan to not tie up your money to invest something with a bigger return is a good thing. The big difference here is if the debt isn't helping you make more money, then don't do it and avoid it at all costs. If you have any student loan debt or credit card debt, make it your priority to pay it off as soon as possible. Take on a second job, work overtime, cut back from expenses, and don't buy from Starbucks every day. Just get that loan paid off as soon as you can. The third mistake that I've seen, which almost all of us are guilty of, which is getting accustomed to lifestyle inflation. This is the practice where you start to make a little bit more money each and every month, and then you start to spend more money each and every month. First, you start with a nicer apartment or a bigger house, then comes the nicer and more expensive car, and then also you start going to nicer places or more expensive places. The issue isn't doing this every now and then for a special occasion, but instead doing it so often it becomes your baseline level of spending and what is normal to you. Once you become accustomed to that level of spending, it becomes exceedingly difficult to go back down from there. People get used to spending all their money that they have anytime they have extra money in their bank account. It's almost as if they don't know what to do with it, so they go and spend it. The only way to stop this is to realize that lifestyle inflation is unavoidable, and it's going to happen to all of us. And it's important that you work with it rather than just ignore it and not acknowledge that it exists or doesn't apply to you at all. The easiest way to handle this is to always pay yourself first. Every single paycheck, before you even spend a dime, just put a certain amount aside and don't even touch it under any circumstance for any reason. Just pretend the money doesn't exist. That way there's no way for you to spend it. I recommend to put at least 15 to 20% of your monthly paycheck every month. And if you can do even more than that, by all means, go ahead and do that as well. Get into the habit of doing this consistently to prevent yourself from spending any excess money that you might have. Another concern is that a lot of millennials don't have any emergency fund at all. In fact, a lot of people's emergency fund is a credit card, which can cost them a significant amount in interest if they don't have the money to pay for it immediately. If you don't know what an emergency fund is, let me break it down for you. Pretty much an emergency fund is money set aside to be only used in case of an emergency and you have no other options to turn to. The ideal amount should equal to 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. This isn't money that you set aside to use whenever you need to go shopping, and it's not money that you go and invest with. It's money you set aside for only emergency use. Like for example, you lose your job, or you need to pay rent, or you need to put food on the table, or your car breaks down. These are cases that you would consider as an emergency, and these are the only times that you would use the money in your emergency fund. The reason why you shouldn't invest this money on short-term notice is because at the same time, your investments can fall when you need that money the most. Like a recession can happen and stocks fall by 40%. And then on top of that, you lose your job and then you have to go and sell at a 40% loss. And chances are you shouldn't even be selling those stocks at that time. Instead, always keep your emergency fund in a high interest savings account. That way you know your money is guaranteed and you're getting guaranteed returns on your money, even if it's just keeping up with inflation. Make sure to be getting at least a 1.7% in the high interest savings account. That way you're getting the most for your money. Here's a backward mistake that some people get themselves into, and that's not getting yourself a credit card. It's okay to have a credit card and spend money that you would have spent on a daily use with your cash anyways, that you have money to pay in the bank and not go into debt with. That's all fine. But there is an extreme to this, and that's people who always pay with cash or debit card, and they don't have a credit card to pay with it and build up their credit score. Not getting a credit card because you're afraid to go into debt is a lot like carrying a fire extinguisher everywhere you go, expecting a fire to happen, and you have to use it right away. Getting a credit card and learning how to handle it responsibly is an important part of your financial future. Not only will a credit card provide you with purchase protection, rewards, and pretty much cash back on all your spending, but it'll also continuously help improve your credit score, which then will give you the lowest interest rates on mortgages, auto financing, or anything that pretty much revolves on running your credit. If you don't have a credit card already, it's very easy. Just go and open a secured credit card. I recommend the Discover It Secured Credit Card. Go and put small expenses on it every month and then pay it off in full when payment is due. Just continue to do this every 6 to 8 months and then go open another credit card. I prefer one without any annual fee, and then do the same thing with this one. Over time, your credit score will improve and you could get the lowest rate anytime you want to go and finance anything. I did a video earlier on how to get that perfect credit score or how to improve your credit score. The links should be popping up right over here. Go ahead and click on it if you want to learn how to improve your credit score, and then come back to this video and we'll continue from here. Or just watch this to the end and go make sure to click on that link over there. Another mistake that I see people always make is that they don't take advantage of retirement accounts or investing. And this is a huge missed opportunity. The best time to contribute to a Roth IRA is when you're young and you're in low tax brackets. With a Roth IRA account, all the profits you make in this account is completely tax-free. You never have to pay a penny to the government in that account. And you can become a millionaire just by contributing to this account every year. And I made a video on that. The link should pop up over here. Go ahead and click on it if you want to learn more about a Roth IRA account, and then come back and continue to this video. Another one is to have a 401k plan, which will reduce your taxes now and postpone it until you retire. Not to mention, a lot of employers will match you dollar for anything you contribute to this account up to a certain amount. This is pretty much free money that a lot of people don't know about, and they're pretty much leaving free money on the table just by not knowing about it or taking advantage of it. I highly encourage you to take advantage of these retirement accounts. Just call up your HR department and tell them you want to take advantage of their retirement options and use it right away. Make it a priority to contribute up to the employer match, max out your Roth IRAs, and take advantage of anything you have at your disposal and do it consistently. Remember how I mentioned to always pay yourself first? Well, here you go. Pay yourself first through these retirement accounts. Finally, this one's the last and most important one, and that's to work your tail off while you're in your 20s and save as much money as you can. Now is the time to pursue any career that you want and work harder than you ever thought was possible and to save as much money as you ever thought was imaginable. While it's still okay to have fun and relax every now and then, but you must stay focused and disciplined. Because the hard work you put into now and the money you save now can help carry you forward throughout the rest of your life. Having the money invested will give you that flexibility to pursue anything that you want to pursue while you get that heavy lifting out of the way early on. It's just as important to also keep your income increasing while you're still decreasing your spending and increasing your savings. Sometimes people can't save enough money, and it's not because of their budgeting or their lack of free spending. It's also because their income is not high enough. So what you need to do is instead focus on increasing your wealth as well as saving at the same time. That's why at a certain point, it's worth switching jobs if it means that you're going to be making more money. Or maybe learn new skills that can help increase your income and work on something that can be more financially ambitious. When it comes to investing, just keep it simple. A broad index fund is the most simplest, easiest, and safest way to invest your money for long term. It's just as simple as buying a target date like the Vanguard Target Date 2050 retirement fund, or one simple broad index fund, and then continue to buy more and more each month and just do it over and over again. Or it can be as simple as spending an hour a day going on biggerpockets.com or on YouTube and learning how to invest in real estate, and then going on weekends to check open houses. By the time you have your down payment ready, you'll be able to invest in real estate and know exactly how it's done. If there's any advice that I could recommend, that's to focus on cutting down living expenses as much as you can while you're still young. Housing is the most recurring monthly expense, and learning how to cut that down as much as you can will help you move forward and long term. Look into house hacking, which is getting a multi-unit building and living in one of them and renting out the other units to other people while they cover your mortgages and ownership of the house. Ideally, if you do this correctly, you can live for free. And then also at the same time, you build equity into that house and you get to own that property for free because your tenants will be paying down the loan of the house for you. Eventually, you should be able to move into something else and repeat the process over and over again. That way you're going to build your portfolio of real estate producing income properties that you can retire on. Investing doesn't need to be complicated, and budgeting doesn't need to be difficult. It's all about learning the financial skills and turning it into a habit and doing it long term. With that said, thanks again for watching my videos. As always, make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so YouTube could alert you when my next video comes out. Also, feel free to add me on Instagram. I pretty much post there daily. So if you want to be part of that, feel free to add me there. Also, if you want 2 free stocks from the stock market, WeBull is giving out 2 free stocks. One for signing up to use their platform, and the second one if you make any amount in deposit. Could be like $5 or $10, any amount. WeBull will give you a second stock worth up to $1,400. And there's a link in the description below for that. Also, Robinhood is giving out a free stock as well. There's a link in the description below for that. So if you want the stocks from there, check out WeBull and Robinhood. And thanks again for watching my video. And until next time, make money with Mike.